What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Dentist Who Invest podcast. We are joined by Alex today, who is going to discuss all things maximizing the monetizing of your dental practice. Alex, how are you, my friend?
Yeah, thanks for having me
Good. My pleasure.
on your business and just a little bit. And we spent a lot of fun time together, and both of us are very informal, and we'll do the same thing when you're on my podcast. It's just a little bit about me. I'm the CEO and founder of All Star Dental Academy. My dad, he is a dentist, retired, and my background, trained MBA lawyer. I worked for Tony Robbins for many years. And so the reason I got into dentistry is my father's business was facing bankruptcy. And so there's just two kind of themes here. He didn't know how to run a business, right? And so I helped him double his business size, right? And so I enjoyed helping dentists. As my whole family are doctors. I'm the lawyer, black sheep of the family, but I figure I can share these tactics with the world to help other dentists similarly situated to improve their business. And so that's kind of one realm. But one things that we can relate a lot, James, in your viewership, is my father did all these investment strategies and found every way he could to lose money. And I know you're trying to help them not do that. And so today I'm hoping we can talk about some of the kind of hidden areas that you really can make money in your dental business you're probably not paying attention to.
Listen, if there's one way that human beings learn, it's learning the hard way, okay? And that's me speaking from personal experience about myself, anecdotally, and just from what I've seen through other people. So through those sorts of occasions and events comes knowledge and wisdom, and that's what we'll be looking forward to you espousing, no doubt, in this podcast today. So, Alex, maybe you'd like to start by talking about some of the common mistakes or the low-hanging fruit that dental
Yes,
practice
yes,
owners often overlook when it comes to monetizing their practices.
absolutely. So a buddy of mine wrote this great article about risky versus non-risky investments, right? And this is kind of like the space that we're going to talk about is the investment mindset and the practice management space, right? Your business, because your business is it's a return on equity, return on capital. It is a business machine. And really, one of the things, as if you are a practicing dentist, is your business is something that should be making money for you, right? And hopefully, as you evolve, it's making money without you even being there. And then you have to figure out what to do with it. But one of the things is that if you think everything has risk, right? And you have to understand, you have to make sure you're educated. So that's why people listen to you, because you don't want to go in just because somebody said so, buy Bitcoin. Like, well, why? And what am I doing? Right. You want to make sure you're doing that. But if you look at a lot of things, and you mentioned low-hanging fruit, it's very interesting how often dentists in particular will go for the toughest, most complicated thing to make money. Right. And or low-hanging fruit is this idea is get the easy stuff, but you don't even know what the easy stuff is. And so I'm going to talk to you about. And I really like this idea of you want to start with the low risk stuff that still can provide high yield, not high risk stuff that maybe that's going to provide you a yield at all. So in a dental practice, I at Ulster Dental Academy, we have this formula called the business growth formula. And there are only 4 ways you make money in dental practice. You have to convert phone calls somehow or leads. They have to show up. You want them to accept treatment and hopefully refer. That's it. That's how you make money in a business, dental practice. Now, stay with me here, and I can provide, in the webinars I do, I put like numbers up and you can see this, but let's assume we're looking at it to build $1 million dental business. Okay. Whether it's pounds or dollars, whatever. Based on our research, you have to have 35% of your callers convert into a patient, 35%. 85% need to show up, 60% need to accept treatment, and 15% have to refer. All right. Those are the numbers, the assumptions you're looking at. Now, to get to $1 million in revenue, you need 5 million in opportunities, because 5 million opportunities, only 35% convert, you're at $1.75 million right there. So you can see it's a funnel each step. But what I want to press upon you is imagine if you can add each area an improvement, incremental improvement by 5% each area. You improve phone conversion by 5%. Now you're at 40% conversion. You improve broken appointments by 90%. 90% of patients show up. Instead of 60% case acceptance, you're 65%. And instead of 15% referral, you're 20% referral. If you can improve each area of the business by a net 5%, you went from a $1 million practice to a $1.4 million practice. 40% improvement, $400,000. Tell me what investment strategy you have out there that you can make 5% improvement and get 40% return. And not just that, it's happening every year because of those systems you put in place.
I love it.
Now I'm going to get a little daring here. And I'm going to say, if you can improve each one by a net 12%, it takes a little more work, right? So that means instead of converting 35% of new patients, you're converting 47%. And that list continues on and on, in each areas. You took a $1 million business and now you made it into a $2 million business. And one of the things about the dental practice, which is amazing, once you get past your fixed costs, of course, you can have variable costs. You have these fixed costs. Once you get past these major fixed costs, the vast majority is profit. And that's where you get into what do I invest in and so on in that conversation. But man, one thing I've learned about entrepreneurship, listen, I've got my MBA. I work with Tony Robbins. I went to law school. You don't have to. It's very simple. What you know, being a dentist, okay, you can monetize greatly. Your business is a business. It's not something that you're supposed to work for. It's supposed to work for you, right? And so like you said, James, is you have to look, what are the low-hanging fruit? The low-hanging fruit is you need to be able to put the right systems into your business, have the training in place to be able to improve your phone calls, patients showing up, case acceptance, referrals. I'm not even saying you spend $1 or more, and that's not even $1 more on marketing. You're not spending any more on marketing. Okay. It's being efficient what you have. And I would even go and for the remainder, the second part of our talk is just the one thing I would focus on, because this is the bottleneck of the funnel, is phone skills. Because if you can get the verbiage on phone skills, right? And not just your front office, if your entire team understands how to talk on the phone, if you could talk on the phone well, you can talk to somebody in front of you well. Those skills are transferable. But that's your bottleneck. Your bottleneck is your phone calls, right? Now, this is my last math equation for today, okay? And we can just kind of riff from there, because I know you guys like math. But this is going to like blow your mind here. Let's just start with just phones. Because I'm telling you, the entire business growth formula, you could do maybe every 3 months, you can master one of them, let's just say. But ultimately, you can see you can double your business just doing that. But let's talk about phone skills. Now, this is research on US and Canada call tracking that we've done. That the average practice sees 135 new patient calls a month, all right? Only 35%, remember that's what that number we came with earlier, become new patients. That means 87 total appointments are not booked, all right? The American Dental Association values that the average new patient is $642 a year is what they pay. Now that can change if you're a specialist or not, whatever, that's pretty low, and that was done, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago, that study. So it's probably higher than that, but let's just use those numbers. And if you use those numbers, right, what you find is, if you can convert all the phone calls, okay, you're looking at like $550,000 more a month. Okay, you're not going to convert all the phone calls, but let's just say that you miss, okay, instead of 87 a month, you miss only 1 a day, a working day, and you work 4 days a week. All right, so easy math: 4 days a week times 4 weeks a month is what, James? Help me with, you're a math guy. 4 times 4?
16.
There you go.
Boom.
So we have 16 working days. So 16 missed calls that you didn't convert a month times $642 all right, only one a working day, you missed that opportunity, is $10,000 a month. $10,000 a year, that's $120,000. That's probably mostly profit. Let's just say 80,000 of that is profit. Now you have things you can invest in. Now, what about lifetime value of the patient? That's 10 years. So that $10,000 a month means $100,000 that you lost in lifetime potential of that patient. So 1 year of just missing one phone call a working day in terms of what I missed, you did not convert them, is going to cost you $1.2 million in lifetime money from those patients. So talk about low-hanging fruit and going, whoa, I'm missing something here. Okay. And I understand, because it's in city, you don't, it's not in your face, this stuff, because you kind of get complacent. The person, they seem nice, and you justify things, but man, you guys are getting crushed. 1.2 million a year. So in 3 years, that's like 3.6. You're probably netting, three and a half years, you're netting $3 million in your pocket that you're never going to get, and you're not going to invest in. You're not going to get that compound interest. I mean, you're retired in a couple years by just not making these mistakes and investing conservatively or not. Maybe you put a little in Bitcoin, put a little bit in S&P, whatever it is, but you have that money. I call these the silent killers in your dental practice, because you just don't pay attention to them, but there's a lot of money to be made.
Do you know what human beings are really bad at? They're really bad at recognizing they've missed out on an opportunity. But what we're much better at is being upset when we have something and we have it taken away from us.
It's true. It's true.
You know what I mean? But if you don't see it that you have it in the first place, then for some reason we're not as miffed, even though it can be as big an opportunity. It can be a huge opportunity. It can be all these wonderful things. And you've just given us the cold hard take just then on why that can be so effective, why it is so important to get this right in our dental practice, because the amount of potential profit that we're missing out on. And what I'm guessing you're going to segue into next, Alex, is just what exactly the nuts and bolts of these phone skills are, what we need to do, what we must do,
sure,
so that we don't lose out those figures that you were just describing.
Right. So the first step is you have to say, okay, well, what's the problem? Is it believable? Does it hurt? Because if you don't make that connection, you're not going to do anything, right? And practices are literally bleeding. I mean, just they're hemorrhaging money all over the place, right? And it's a good thing, because you go, look, I can improve. So that's the first step. So what do you do about it? Well, you got to be training your team. You got to be continuously training. Tony Robbins has this phrase, CANI, which is continuous and never ending improvement. You always want to be doing that. And a lot of dentists are like, yeah, it's nice to train. Well, it's not just nice to train. It is essential. Okay. And man, patients are more spoofed now than ever. They have more reasons not to come, more excuses not to come to the dentist. So we have to find ways to make sure that we answer their issues. And so again, this is an ongoing process of training, but of course we would start with the phone skills, right? Now, I'm sure you'll provide your listeners our website, allstardentalacademy.com. We have a great webinar and ebook that kind of also spends a lot more time going into these subjects, right? I believe we have one link that goes to allstardentalacademy.com. I believe, let me just double check. I believe it's free training, and they get an hour, 90 minutes. Let me double check that. Yeah. So you go to allstardentalacademy.com/free-training. And it's a great webinar that goes into this in detail. Well, let's just give you a little kind of taste with phone skills. So with when you're answering the phone, we have a process called the Great Call process. It's an acronym of a way you want to answer the phone. All right. G stands for greeting, R stands for rapport, E is engage the patient, A asks for the appointment, T is take information. Okay. Now, typically when somebody makes a phone call, all right, they're asking you a question. What do you charge for X? What do I take my insurance? Whatever that might be. And immediately we answer their question, right? We don't build any rapport and they're out the door. I want to think about it. Okay. You always have to answer their question. But the problem is when people are shopping, they're looking to commoditize you as a dentist. What do you charge? Do you do this? And once they have the answer, they've already labeled you. They didn't get to know how wonderful you are, right? James, you and I spent a couple hours chatting and have a good time. Like, we're buddies. We have rapport. It's a lot easier than saying, let me interview you. I don't know who you are, right? So it's very important that we humanize. I don't know. I just created a word, dude.
Humanize.
So I'll get humanize. There you go. But I'll do the ties because yeah, humanize. So we need to build this rapport. So we have to, number one is have a very good greeting, right? That sounds like you are looking forward to talking to them. And we got to be able to build rapport. We teach a process in the webinar a little bit about this transition statement. So it's a mechanism of transitioning from they want to get an answer to, well, I want to answer that and I will, but I want to get to know you better, right? And that's the and we have different ways of doing that. But the power is in these rapport skills. The power is getting to know this patient, really to know what they're looking to do. Okay. And when we follow this process, we will be able to answer their question in context, right? So they just had an amazing customer service experience, right? Which essentially is marketing, right? When you get to provide them great patient experience and then you answer their question. And it's amazing the level, how the conversion rates just go through the roof when you do that. Because now you're a person, not a commodity. And you call any other dentist or any other business for that matter, and you're going to get a terrible experience, most likely, because they're so busy. They don't want to answer the phone. They just want to get on with it. It's just a robotic process. But when you realize a phone is, man, that's your ticket to make money, right? And that's your ticket to market your business, and you do it right, it's incredible. And so there are two aspects of really successfully implementing this, because at the end of the day, it's implementation. I can give you tips and tricks and whatever, and you'll just say, great, you won't do it, right? But so I talk about in the webinar in more detail. I spend 30 minutes on just implementation, right? And because we hear this idea that knowledge is power, right? You've heard that before, right? Knowledge is not power.
It's not. No, it's not.
It's potential. No, it's not, sir. It is not. Knowledge is only potential power. You have to be able to put it into action. You have to be able to implement. Okay. And this I really took from Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill. That's his line. Knowledge is not power. It's potential power, because you got a lot of information. What do you do with it? How do you apply it? Right. And so with implementation, it's not the tortoise. A lot of businesses, it's the tortoise versus the hare story. We know that, you try to run out the gates, learn, and then stop and get distracted. It's that tortoise that's slow and steady, little by little. When I was in college, I was a study skills specialist. I got a 4.0 GPA. It's not because I'm so smart. It's something to do with it. I never studied much because I knew how to study. Everybody was cramming. I was doing little by little, because your mind remembers that way. So the way you train is you do little by little, and you say, this is part of my business. I'm going to train a little bit every week forever. And I'm going to keep my focus on these skills, right? On these rapport building skills. I'm going to be evaluating my phone calls. These are not a ton of work, but the difficulty with dentists and with most people, it's attention deficit issue, right? We're on to something else. It's a lot more fun to, throw money at something and hopefully it grows. This pay and pray. But these disciplined actions that aren't a lot of work, it's just making, I remember there's this quote, I don't know, it's a bit of a tangent, but it's cute, of a mindfulness kind of instructor said, it's not hard to be mindful. It's hard to remember to be mindful. So it's not hard to train. It's hard to remember the train consistently. And that's my message for all of you is two things. Number one, you got to realize you're hemorrhaging money, guys, and you got to put a stop to it. And I know many of you will do something about it, hopefully, but then then you have to stick with it. Once you fix it, you will go backwards eventually. That's the nature of a dental business. You have to keep the incremental pressure little by little. We're talking 20 minutes a week. That's all I'm asking you guys to do. And if you can keep that on for the remainder of your career, you're going to be millions of dollars thankful that you did it.
A powerful analogy, not just for a dental practice, but for life, if you think about it.
Of course.
Just little by little,
Sure.
chipping away at things, improving your knowledge, building your skills, etc., etc. Awesome. So phone skills, you're preaching to the choir now, because now we're all thinking about phone skills and how they can improve our practice and how they are the low-hanging fruit that we were speaking about earlier. Alex, I'm going to throw you a bit of a curveball now because I'm interested to hear your
Show me.
thoughts on this.
Show me.
Social
Yes.
media, Instagram.
Uh-huh.
What's your thoughts? What's your take? Do you think that is something that, broadly speaking, dentists do well? They could do better?
Social media. I think my position is this on it. You need to do it, all of it, so you don't to keep that impression out there, because I put it this way, it can only hurt you if you don't do it right. Okay. Because people want to communicate with you in those. We have to pay attention to social media. We have to have some presence. However, from what I've seen, I've not seen it at this point yet be the game changer that some talk about in terms of driving tons of business to your business, to your practice. If you are someone like James, great personality that's, can monitor it and can, like you have dentists that are doing some great work and they're posting their pictures and they're at events, they're networking, then social media becomes an arm of who they are. And because social media is very personality driven. Okay. And people can smell BS. Okay. So if you just hire a company and they're just going to post generic stuff, then, I don't know, you can throw Facebook ads, marketing ads, things like that to try to generate business. But I think I would recommend you make a genuine effort to do social media, make it be an extension of you, as one facet of your business.
Can I just throw something on top of that? Because when you were speaking just then, I think that's so true. If you post the generic stuff, people are just going to switch up, just move on to the next thing and not really pay much attention to it. I heard a saying, not so long, well, let me think, it was a couple of months ago, and it's very powerful and made me think about social media in a whole new way. That saying goes along the lines of, attention is currency, reputation is leverage of that currency. So it basically took social media and it turned it into trader speak. So this is two things that spoke to me. Okay. So attention is currency, because the more pairs of eyes you have on you, then the more likely you're able to generate money from your social media presence, just by the sheer fact that you have more pairs of eyes on you. Okay. Monetizing is not the hard part. Getting the attention is. Okay. And here's what people do wrong. I think they post like promo-y stuff and salesy stuff. You know what I mean? And that is true. The biggest turnoff. Don't even think about that. Don't even think about that. Just post things that are funny. Post things that are humorous. Post a little bit of you, a little bit of your personality, make it personal. And then by the sheer fact people are paying attention to you because of that, then the money follows. Okay.
Exactly.
Don't go out there. It's almost like if you push too hard looking for the money, you actually undermine yourself and you achieve the exact opposite results.
It's almost like it follows this law of attraction concept that you want to be a magnet and you want to attract people to you. And so if you're a true magnet, you're someplace that's really fun and you're doing some great work, whether it's charity or you're having fun in the office, and you post that and people see it, it connects to their heart and then they feel connected to you. So again, social media is also about rapport. It is a mechanism, it's an extension of you. And if you do it right and you're fun to be around and your business is doing good things, it will help you.
Post the silly stuff that makes people laugh. The most underrated thing that you can do on Facebook, okay, and on social media to drive attention towards your business, and people just don't do it enough, in my
True.
opinion.
True. And you got to also, I'm a big fan of modeling. Who are the best people out there that are doing well on social media, like you, James? And what other dentists are killing it? What are they doing? Ask the question, do what they do. And surprisingly, it's not the marketing company they're doing. It's just what cool stuff that they're into, and model what they're doing.
Cool. I love it. Instagram, TikTok, has any dentist actually successfully used TikTok as somewhere to market their dental practice? I feel like Instagram has somehow inadvertently become the hotbed or the go-to social media platform for dentistry and dentists who want to showcase their business. I don't know how and I don't know why. Maybe because it's focused purely on pictures, and dentistry is obviously a hugely aesthetic thing. What do you think? TikTok?
You know, I have a love-hate relationship with social media. I mean, I'm very pragmatic with it, right? And just as full disclosure, I'm not a marketing expert. But I'm just saying, like, I've done a lot of work with social media in our business. I've with other dental businesses and what they're doing. And my general consensus is it's more hype than actually results for dental practices. There are some that do very well, but you have to be, most dentists, James, they're not like you. Sorry. And they'll admit it. They don't have this big personality. They're not doing fun things. I might be lumped with them too. I'm not always doing the, fun, exciting things. That you got to have the personality for it. And that's the thing about marketing, guys. Here's my point. Social media, you got to be doing it some way. You got to have a presence because people will communicate that way. And if you don't, you're going to hurt yourself because people are going to want to find you. And if they can't find you, they go, what's wrong with this place? You got to be posting continuously on Facebook, Instagram, and they're linked. You can link in through Meta, whatever. You got to be having a presence. And Instagram too, because a lot of the younger generation are on Instagram more than Facebook. So you got to be where they're at. You got to find a mechanism for them to communicate. You also have to know who you are. If you're, so I have a buddy who's a chiropractor, and he has, what do you call it? He has a certain method. He has what's called combat or hand to hand. He calls it. He goes hand to hand combat marketing. I says, what's that? I go out there and shake hands, and he talks to people and he shakes hands and he meets with referring sources, and that he kills it. Endodontists and specialists, you might have some great GPs that you just take good care of them. You text them, you send them gifts, you take good, and that's your marketing. You might be an insurance provider and you're number one on your insurance and you get it. You have to know, that's the thing. You have to know who you are and just kill it with what you're good at. You need to be able to be a smart business person and have tentacles and everything. But I'm just careful. There are some dentists that don't have the personality, and they hear social media and they have FOMO, fear of missing out, right? And they start investing a ton of money and they get nothing and they get upset. Okay. So my stance is pragmatism. You got to have social media, but you have to know your specialty and how makes you drive. What is your best way of marketing? But like I said today, guys, you don't need as much marketing as you think you do if you're efficient in your business. You can double your business without spending a dime on marketing if you're well trained. And I'll tell you, man, having a great customer service business where people are so happy to come and you do a great job is your number one marketing. And you'll need social media because I have doctors that I'm so impressed with. I run out of social media places to post things because I had such a great experience. So if you do a great job with your business and the customer service in your business, you just got to make sure that there's easy ways for them to promote. You don't have to even ask for it. They're going to do it. So my point is there's no trickery around this. If you're good and you take care of your people, and you listen and you do the pragmatic stuff, you'll kill it.
Awesome. And I would totally agree. I would absolutely 110% agree. If you put the patient first, you think about them as an individual, what their wants and needs are, and then build your business around that, build your treatment around that, That is success 101. And when as a dentist myself, I always noticed that that was something that took me a while to catch on, you know what I mean? That I don't feel at the start I would listen to the patient enough. And the day that I twigged that and the day that I started doing it, patient happiness, patient reviews, all those things, they go through the roof. Positivity, yeah.
Amazing.
And it sounds so obvious. And I think to myself, what the heck? How did I not realize that in the first place? It's such a people orientated job. It's a massively
It
people
is.
orientated job. And therefore, your focus should be people and then everything else second.
And I think we don't do it enough. And I think, as we saw here, James, it's really getting real with the dentists, because all of them want, listen, every dentist I know, all people, we always want the easy way out. Give me the secret. Give me the trick. Is it TikTok? What can I do to trick somebody to come in? Be the first one to get it. What am I buying? Dogecoin, Bitcoin, when, what? Everybody wants to be, we're all human. We want to get that little edge and be the first one. And you know what? The tried and true stuff, if you do it right, you're going to do great. And then, and if you do the good stuff and you do it right, you're going to feel good about yourself and you're going to enjoy your money, because you can have all the money and you can, swindle whatever you want and you're not happy and nobody likes you. Good. So abundance and success is, you got to have it all. You have the money, you have independent freedom, you have independent, you're financially independent, and you enjoy what you do and you have joy and happiness in your life. That's the end game. That's what you want. Money is just a vehicle to give you freedom, so you can party with James in Dubai all the time.
Yeah, right over here. Awesome. Sounds good. You know what? What an amazing way to round off that podcast with some food for thought for your dental practice, but also food for thought for life on a more cuddly, warm note. So thank you for that, Alex. That has been
My pleasure.
awesome today. Gems in abundance in there, gems of knowledge in abundance in that conversation that we just had, and everybody listening will no doubt have been able to take away something that will improve their practice, not just as a practice owner but also as an associate as well. Alex, should anybody want to get in touch with you based on anything that they've said, that we've said today in the podcast, how are they best off doing that?
Yeah, best way is go to allstardentalacademy.com. There's so many free resources. You can certainly reach out to us. We can talk to you about, we do have a training program, online training. We have people all over the world that use our training in England, all over, Netherlands, what have you. But certainly check out that free training webinar, allstardentalacademy.com/free-training. Those will be some great resources for you. We just want to help you all, whether you work with us or not. It just makes the world a better place. And that's always makes us smile.
Big love, Alex. I absolutely love it, my friend. We're going to draw a line under proceedings today. Really, really, really nice to chat to you and catch up once more. We shall speak very soon.
All right. Take care.